She heard the word through the door before she could knock. Guardianship. Her hand froze in midair, knuckles hovering over the wood. Inside, her mother's voice dropped lower, careful and controlled. The doctor owes us a favor. He'll sign the paperwork tomorrow morning. The envelope in her other hand suddenly felt heavier than steel. She was standing on her parents' front porch in Virginia, 1 hour after burying the only person in her family who had ever truly seen her. The house looked exactly the same. Peeling white paint, lace curtains her mother refused to replace, wind chimes clinking softly in the October breeze. But nothing was the same. Inside that envelope was the truth. 2 working cattle ranches in Montana and a home in Los Angeles. Her grandfather had left them to her, not to the family. Only to her. She'd come home to tell them. To offer relief. To finally be the daughter who solved something instead of the one who caused problems. Then she heard her brother laugh through the door. Once it's done, she won't be able to touch anything without us. Her breath caught. That was the moment everything began to unravel. This is a her value story. For anyone who's ever been treated as less than they are by the people who were supposed to protect them. If you're new here, take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Before we continue, tell me in the comments. Have you ever discovered something about your family that changed how you saw them forever? Because what she was about to hear would rewrite every assumption she'd ever made about love, loyalty, and blood. Her name was Evelyn Carter, 34 years old. 12 years in the Army, most of it overseas. She'd coordinated supply chains under rocket fire, managed teams in conflict zones, earned commendations she never mentioned at family dinners because no one ever asked. At home she was still just the difficult one. The daughter who ran off to play soldier. The one who didn't fit. She stood there on the porch, dressed in black, her uniform jacket folded in the car. She'd chosen civilian clothes for the funeral. Jeans, a simple blouse, because her mother once said the uniform made people uncomfortable. Inside the house, her family was gathered. All of them. Her mother, Linda, who ran the household like a campaign and believed control was love. Her father, Richard, a man who measured worth in silence and disappointment. Her younger brother, Jason, 29, who had never held a job longer than 8 months. And her sister, Michelle, 31, soft-spoken but sharp when it mattered. They were waiting for her. But not the way she thought. Through the door, her father's voice came next, clipped and businesslike. She's been through trauma. Long deployments. We frame it as concern. Evelyn's throat tightened. Her mother responded, quieter now, almost soothing. Temporary guardianship. Just until things are settled. The lawyer said it's easier if she cooperates. Evelyn felt the porch tilt slightly beneath her boots. Her sister's voice hesitant. Is that even legal? Her mother snapped back. It's for her own good, Michelle. Don't be naive. Evelyn pressed her palm flat against the siding. The wood was warm from the afternoon sun. Solid. Real. Inside, Jason laughed again. Makes things simpler. Once we have control, we can sell one of the ranches. Maybe both. Her father. One step at a time. First, we secure authority. They were already counting money they didn't know existed. Evelyn closed her eyes. For one foolish moment, she had imagined walking through that door and saying it's okay. Grandpa took care of us. We're safe. She had imagined relief. Gratitude. Maybe even pride. Now she understood. They didn't want her safe. They wanted her small. She knocked. 3 steady raps, controlled and clear. The voices inside stopped immediately. A step. The lock turned. Her mother opened the door with both hands, her face already rearranged into something soft and worried. Oh, sweetheart. Linda pulled her into a hug before Evelyn could speak. It was tight, possessive, the kind of embrace that looked like comfort but felt like a cage. You must be exhausted, her mother whispered into her hair. Evelyn let herself be led inside. The living room smelled like lemon cleaner and old coffee. Her father stood near the fireplace, arms crossed. Jason sat in the armchair, phone in hand. Michelle leaned against the kitchen counter, arms folded, watching. Long drive? Her father asked. Evelyn nodded. Yeah. Her mother guided her to the couch, hand firm on her shoulder. Sit down. You shouldn't be making any big decisions right now. Evelyn met her mother's eyes and nodded. You're right, she said quietly. I'm not thinking clearly. Her mother's relief was instant. She squeezed Evelyn's hand. Inside, something cold and sharp settled into place. They thought she was broken. They thought she was alone. They had no idea she was already 10 steps ahead. 3 days passed. Evelyn played the role they expected. Quiet, tired, grief-stricken. She let her mother bring her tea she didn't drink. She let her father talk about getting things in order. She let her siblings hover, watching her like she might shatter. And at night she listened. Her bedroom door didn't lock. Her phone had mysteriously died and was charging downstairs, always out of reach. The car keys kept moving. On the 3rd night she heard them again. Her mother's voice, low and urgent. We need to move faster. Her father. The appointment's set for tomorrow. 10 a.m. Evelyn lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling. At 3:12 a.m., she slipped into the bathroom, locked the door, and pulled a second phone from the lining of her jacket. The one they didn't know about. She dialed a number her grandfather had made her memorize. Rang twice. Counselor Hayes. This is Evelyn, she whispered. I need to move. Now. There was a pause. Are you safe? Not for long. They're building a case. A doctor's coming in the morning. Understood. I'll set things in motion immediately. Trust documents first, account second. Do not sign anything. Do not leave with anyone. I won't. And Evelyn, you're doing the right thing. She ended the call and stared at her reflection in the mirror. Her face looked older, harder, clearer. The next morning, the doorbell rang at exactly 10 o'clock. Her mother opened the door with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Dr. Collins. Thank you so much for coming. The man who stepped inside was mid-50s, expensive jacket, soft voice. He looked at Evelyn the way people look at patients. You must be her. Evelyn nodded slowly. He sat across from her, setting a leather folder on the coffee table. Your family's been very worried. Her sister jumped in. She's been forgetful. Jumpy. Jason. Barely eats. Dr. Collins made a note. Grief can manifest in many ways. Her father leaned forward. We just want to make sure she's protected. There was that word again. Protected. The doctor asked simple questions. A date. The day of the week. Where they were. Evelyn answered slowly, deliberately. Let her voice trail. Let her hands tremble. Then he shifted. Have you been experiencing confusion? Difficulty making decisions? Evelyn hesitated. Sometimes. Her mother reached over, placing her hand on Evelyn's. She doesn't mean to, doctor. She's always been so independent. The implication was clear. Too independent to know what's good for her. Dr. Collins nodded sympathetically. It might be wise to consider temporary measures. Just until things stabilize. Evelyn looked up. What kind of measures? He smiled. Reassuring. Support. Oversight. Someone to help manage responsibilities. Evelyn glanced around the room. They were all watching her. Waiting. Then she asked very quietly. Like guardianship. The room went still. Her mother laughed lightly. Oh honey, don't use such a heavy word. But that's what it is, Evelyn said. Dr. Collins cleared his throat. It can be framed many ways. I've been responsible for classified operations, Evelyn interrupted. Her voice was steady now. Strong. For people's lives. Her father stiffened. This isn't the time. It is, she said. Because you're not worried about me. You're worried about control. Her mother's smile faltered. Sweetheart, you're confused. No, Evelyn said. I'm clear. She turned to the doctor. You were invited here under false pretenses. There's no medical emergency. No consent. And no authority. Dr. Collins stood uncomfortable now. This is a family matter. Yes, Evelyn said. And you're not family. He gathered his folder and left. The door clicked shut. For a moment no one moved. Then her mother exploded. What is wrong with you? Evelyn stood slowly. She reached into her bag and pulled out the envelope. Before you say another word, she said, you should know something. Their eyes locked on the paper. Grandpa didn't leave me debts, Evelyn continued. He left me assets. Silence. 2 working ranches in Montana. And a house in Los Angeles. Her brother swore under his breath. Her sister's mouth fell open. Her mother took a step forward, face already shifting. Oh, sweetheart, why didn't you say so? And that was when Evelyn knew. She hadn't been wrong. She'd been right. Everything changed. Dinner that night was chicken, not soup. The heat was turned up. Her phone reappeared on the nightstand, fully charged. Her mother hovered again, but this time with warmth that felt calculated. You've been through so much, Linda said, pouring coffee Evelyn hadn't asked for. We just want to help. Her father asked about the properties. Usual. Curious. Jason joked about visiting Montana. Michelle offered to help with paperwork. It was almost impressive how quickly they adapted. But Evelyn had spent 12 years reading people under pressure. She knew the difference between care and strategy. Still she played along. She smiled when expected. She thanked them. She let them think the crisis had passed. But she also noticed what didn't change. Her mail didn't arrive. Her mother said she'd sorted it to help. The car keys kept moving. Her father said it was for safety. When she tried to step outside alone, Michelle asked where she was going. It was subtle, plausible, deniable. They weren't abandoning the plan. They were adjusting it. On the 5th night, Evelyn's phone buzzed. A text from Counselor Hayes. No name. Just a number. Trust documents drafted. Awaiting your signature. Secure link attached. She signed digitally in the bathroom with the shower running. By the time the water went cold, the first line of defense was in place. The next message came 2 days later. Background check complete. You were right to call. Evelyn's stomach dropped. The next line made her hands go cold. Your parents refinanced their home 18 months ago. Missed multiple payments. Credit cards near limit. Your brother has outstanding personal loans. Gambling related. Your sister co-signed. Evelyn sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the screen. It hadn't been about protecting her. It had been about survival. Their survival. She looked up at the closed door. And for the first time she didn't feel anger. She felt clarity. The morning of the 8th day, her mother made an announcement. Dr. Collins is coming back. Evelyn looked up from her coffee. Why? Just a follow-up, Linda said lightly. With a colleague. Her father folded his newspaper. It's standard. Evelyn checked the clock. 9:12 a.m. The appointment was at 10. She excused herself, walked upstairs and made one last call. Now, she said when Hayes answered. At exactly 10 a.m. the doorbell rang. 2 men stood on the porch. Dr. Collins, pale and stiff. And another man in a dark suit who did not smile. Her mother opened the door, confusion flickering across her face. This is unnecessary, Linda hissed as they stepped inside. No, the suited man said calmly. It's overdue. He turned to Evelyn. Miss Carter, I'm with Adult Protective Services. Her father's face drained of color. The APS officer didn't raise his voice. Didn't accuse. He asked questions. Clear ones. About access to her phone. About her car keys. About medical consent. About pressure. Evelyn answered calmly. Honestly. Dr. Collins tried to interrupt. He was stopped. Politely. By noon the house felt smaller. By 2 her parents were silent. By 4 they were furious. You set us up, her mother spat once the officials left. No, Evelyn said. You did. Jason paced. What about the properties? Evelyn smiled for the first time in days. Those are handled. What does that mean? Michelle demanded. It means, Evelyn said slowly, they're in an irrevocable trust. With me as the sole beneficiary. No one else has access. No one else has authority. Her father's jaw clenched. You can't just. I already did. Her mother's voice cracked. We're your family. Evelyn met her eyes. And I'm your daughter, she said quietly. Not your asset. That night Evelyn packed. She didn't sneak. Didn't rush. She folded her clothes, zipped her bag, and placed it by the door. Her sister blocked her path. You can't just leave. I can, Evelyn said. And I am. Her father spoke quietly from the hallway. If you walk out that door, don't expect help. Evelyn looked at him. Really looked. I never did, she said. She walked out into the cool Virginia night, got into her car and drove. She didn't look back. If this story reminds you of someone you lost or almost lost, share it with them. She checked into a hotel outside Richmond, slept for 14 hours. When she woke, her phone had 17 missed calls. She deleted them all. 2 days later, she met with Hayes in person. He laid out a folder. They can still try to file, he said. But the evidence cuts the other way. Coercive control. Withholding communication. Financial motive. APS involvement changes everything. And the properties. Untouchable, he said. Your trust is airtight. Evelyn exhaled. For the first time since the porch, her chest felt light. A week later she returned to the house. Not to move back in. To set boundaries. Her mother opened the door, eyes red. Not from tears but from rage held too long. You brought strangers into this. I brought professionals, Evelyn replied. There's a difference. She handed her mother a single sheet of paper. This is notice, Evelyn said. Of boundaries. Effective immediately. Her father stepped forward. You think money makes you right? No, Evelyn said. Money revealed what you were willing to do. She didn't wait for a response. She turned and walked back to her car. Her brother called after her. What about us? He paused. I don't owe you access, she said. I don't owe you obedience. And I don't owe you silence. She drove away. And didn't look back. 3 weeks later, Evelyn stood in a quiet neighborhood in Los Angeles where the air smelled like jasmine and warm asphalt. The house wasn't a mansion. It was solid, thoughtful, light pouring through windows that faced west. Counselor Hayes stood beside her. It suits you, he said. She walked through the room slowly, touched the walls, stood in the kitchen and imagined mornings without tension. That night, she slept on a mattress on the floor with the windows open. The city drifted in. Cars in the distance, someone laughing 2 streets over. Felt strange, lonely and relieving at the same time. Like taking off a pack she didn't know she'd been carrying. The ranches came next. She flew to Montana. Dust on her boots. Wind in the tall grass. She didn't sell them. She hired managers who knew the land. Paid fair wages. Left clear instructions. Income flowed into the trust. Steady. Predictable. Back in Los Angeles, she set boundaries the way she'd learned in the army. Clearly. Only. In writing. 1 email to her family. I'm safe. I'm stable. I'm not discussing assets. Please respect my request for space. Any further contact should be about health or emergencies only. She didn't ask for understanding. She didn't explain. Their responses came anyway. Her sister sent paragraphs about forgiveness. Jason tried humor, then guilt, then anger. Her father sent 1 sentence. You've changed. He was right. Her mother waited longest. When the message finally came, it was short. We never meant to hurt you. Evelyn read it twice. Then closed her phone. And went back to choosing her own life. Weeks became months. The quiet stopped feeling empty. She set up a small office in the spare room. She volunteered with an organization that helped veterans navigate financial abuse. Because it happens more than people admit. And because silence protects the wrong people. One afternoon a letter arrived. Her sister's handwriting. Evelyn made tea. Stood by the window. The letter wasn't an apology. Wasn't a threat. It was something quieter. Michelle wrote about fear. About money. About how quickly people convince themselves they're doing the right thing when they're really just afraid. Evelyn folded the letter. Put it away. Maybe one day they'd talk. Maybe not. That decision didn't have to be made today. And that too was freedom. On her birthday, she visited her grandfather's grave. Alone. She told him thank you. Not just for the properties. But for seeing her. For trusting her silence. I did okay, she said aloud. I think you'd be proud. The wind moved through the trees. And for a moment that was answer enough. Thank you for spending this time with her value stories. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter. And here's my question for you. What part of this story stayed with you the most? Was it the moment on the porch? The realization that love had conditions? Or the choice to walk away? Leave a comment below. I read every one. 'Cause your story matters too. I'll see you in the next one.